Hello, today I want to show you what your student will see when you assign them work through TeacherMade. So there's different ways you can assign their work. You can copy and paste a link and share it with them. What I like to do is I like to post it on my Google Classroom as an assignment, and then my students will just click on it. After they do that, they will be prompted to enter their name, or you can have them log in with their Google account. For this one, I'm just going to put student trial as my name and then click start. It'll bring you right into the worksheet that you edited to make digital. And you'll notice here I have one from Super Teacher Worksheets about the colonies. Up top, I added some directions because I wanted my students to read and annotate. And then if I scroll down, you'll notice that I added in some questions here and I made it digital so my students could answer the questions right here on these pages. And I'll show you a little bit more about that after I show you how my students annotate. So to start with, what they would do is they would go up here to their color, and they can choose any color that they would like unless I tell them to use a certain one. So I'm just going to start with yellow, and then I'm going to click on this highlighter here. Now you'll notice this cursor appears, and then they can just drag it and go over what they would like to highlight, just like you would use a highlighter in your classroom. Now, after they highlight, I ask them to write some notes to explain why they highlighted it. So they could just go up here to add text, and then they'll just place a text box. It looks like a little sticky note, and they could type right on it. And land. Now they can then change their color. So they can go up here, I'm going to change it to green, and then go back to the highlighter and then highlight another piece of information here. After, they can go back up to text and they can drop another text box. If you notice, you can resize them so students can write a lot. They can write just maybe a word or a sentence, depending on how in depth you want them to write. And then they would just continue reading and annotating. When they come to the end here, you'll notice that there's some questions. Here's a multiple choice one that I have, so they would just click on the correct answer. This one is short answer, so they have to spell their answers correctly, so that way they get credit for it. So I'll just put one answer in there. But if you notice, when I click on each one, my cursor appears, and so that way they know exactly where to write their words. Here, they could also just easily type in the answer, and they go to the next one, and it's multiple choice, so they can just fill in the correct spot next to their answer. And then here we have a open-ended. This is for multiple sentences or even a paragraph. You can notice that you can expand your box too to make it larger for your students to see, which is really helpful. When I go even further down, you'll notice that they have matching. I did write here more directions for them to write the letter on the line because I actually have TeacherMade auto grading my work for my students. And so I want to make sure that they write the letter so they will get that point. If they write it with the period, they won't get it, but you can also add that as an option. So that way, just in case your students do, they will also get credit for it as well. Now, when I go back up to the top, you'll notice that there's two buttons. There's a save for later or I'm done. So save for later is really great because if you run out of time or you want to have them work on it in the next day or for afternoon learning, they can push save for later. If they're done, they can just click on that. And what I really like and appreciate is that TeacherMade has this prompt that appears that says this worksheet has not been completed. Are you sure you want to submit it? Because we all know that we have those students that submit their work and they forget to answer some of the questions. So here I'm going to push OK. Even though if I was a student, they should go back and make sure that everything is answered. But you'll notice that there is a score that appears. You can have a score appear. You don't have to, though, and you can also have it in a percentage. So if I scroll down, you'll notice that the green ones are the ones that the student got correct, and it will show that it is correct. And then the red ones are not correct. Now you can have it show them the correct answer if you would like. That is an option. I did not choose that for this one here. And you'll notice that these were incorrect as well. And it's not showing the answer, but like I said, you can have TeacherMade show the answer to them, which is really wonderful too, so they can go back over and check their work to see what mistakes they made. So this is how I use TeacherMade in my classroom. I hope it gave you some ideas on how to use it in yours.